up, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and comment. It's free. It'll cost anything. Join the madness. No, you want to, bro. It's free. Can't turn down free stuff. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was actually a conversation I was having, right, with some of my, friends. And we're talking about, this professor who was talking about overall, compulsive liars, right? And how the internet, social media, and all that has opened the flood doors to, a lot of these individuals to come and try to con their way for a quick buck, right? And so we were giving our overall opinion on the discussion, right? So overall, when it comes to social media, right, it's a great tool to getting to understand, human behavior, right? Different personalities in their comfort zones, right? You get an open look into an individual and how he behaves in his surroundings, right? Because it became the norm that even some people, I think, even forget that, they're on a video or they're being recorded and stuff like that. And some of the egos on these individuals is ridiculous, right? Because even though it's a video and people could go back and watch it and, and all that, they still lie so effortlessly and comfortable that it's not even funny, right? But then, that plays into the narcissism of things, right? Thinking that you're smarter than everybody, thinking that, you could always weasel or con your way out of situations and stuff. It's a trip, right? Because when it comes to, profiling somebody, right? Now, it's never good to assume, right? Assumptions are not facts, right? But science is based off of, having a theory, right? An educated guess, right, on something, right? So going based off of the information that you test this theory and already know that this and this is gonna happen, going based off of the information that right? So now people are not psychic. They don't know that that this is gonna potentially is gonna happen, that it's 100% fact. But going based off of the information that they know, if they test it this way, then this and this should happen, right? Same with human behavior, same with profiling somebody, right? Just going based off of the information that about an individual, and certain instances, and you're able to más o menos make an educated guess on how an individual is. Right. So while I had made a video, right, talking about Donald Trump, right, and in this video I had said that everything that Donald Trump was inherited, right, and that because of his businesses went bankrupt, right? So if he didn't have his father's inheritance, he would have never succeeded. Now people say I don't know this for a fact, right? So what makes me say that, if I don't really know that to be so? Now we're gonna go based off of him and the information that we do know about him, right? The money was inherited, and the money that he kept, generating was coming from his father's, overall businesses, right? Is what, kept his money coming. Now, when he tried to come with his own ideas and his own business methods and everything like that, they went bankrupt. You know what I mean? Each and every single time. He only had 2 success, but every other time was pure bankruptcy. From numerous different businesses, and not all the same, different, from casinos to hotels to board games to mortgages to, travel agencies to all kinds of vodka, steak, all kinds of different stuff. So now if we remove now his father from the equation, right? His father never, left him money. So now he himself has to come without his father's help, right? Would he have the same outcome? No, because the money that he kept, generating is coming from his father's ideas, right? And how he was able to start his first businesses was through the inheritance of his father. Now, if he didn't have his father's there, sure, there's other ways for him to come up with the money in order for this to happen, right? But now we're removing the father's ideas from the equation, right? So now he has to come with his own ideas. And what has his own ideas shown? That each and every business went bankrupt. when it came to his own ideas and him coming to the table with his without his father's connections and his father's guidance, and he himself coming each and every single time went bankrupt. So now, if his father wasn't around, it's safe to assume that this would be the case, going based off of what we know. That is how you make an educated guess on overall an individual, and what might occur or what might not occur, or what this individual is going to do or what they're not going to do, or if they're lying, if they're telling the truth, going based off of what you already know of an individual. um, you know if there's an individual that constantly lies each and every single time, he lies about even the most smallest thing, then it's safe to assume when he comes with an idea that sounds kind of sketchy, then most likely it's a con, because going based off of the other cons that he has, come to the table with, it's safe to assume this to be so. Now, it's an educated guess, meaning it's not 100% facts, right? Because assumptions are not facts, right? But it's safe to assume and to be, on the safer side. Um, I can see why individuals have certain ideas of individuals, even though they don't really truly know these individuals. Um, you know, it's safe to assume that they have a good reason of why they should be, concerned. Um, Same on YouTube. Whenever I'm browsing through YouTube, I see a lot of individuals who I can see that they're cons. You know what I mean? I could see that they're compulsive liars. Definitely compulsive liars. A lot of compulsive liars. Um, you just see a whole lot of and it's a shame, because that in itself is a gift, right? Not conning people, but the overall thought process of an individual to sit there, calm and collect, and be able to plot and plan, right? Because they're able to read a room, they're able to read individuals to play into their emotions and feelings and all that. And instead of using that gift and talent to doing something, productive, or something, good, they choose to take advantage of, people's, because they're gullible, or just because of their overall kindness. It's a damn shame. You know what I mean? But that's the world we live in. Um, and it's a trip because we're all unique in our way, our DNA, right? And what makes you you. But when it comes to our overall, personalities, um, they're not that unique, right? Because throughout the world, you have people that are serial killers, people that have gambling problems, people that are cheaters, people that are liars, people that are noble, people that are brave, people that are kind, people that are evil, people that are haters, people that are, procrastinators, and all of that, right? All around the world. And this even before technology ever existed, right? Before we even had social media and computers and everything like that, people like this existed throughout the world, right? You had serial killers, and you had, you know, saints and all of that throughout the whole entire world. Um, and without them knowing of each other, about each other, so people can't even say that these behaviors were influenced by other people's bad behaviors, because like I said, there was no form of communication to even know of this, right? And we know this to be so because we compare data now, you know what I mean? And it's a trip how people in this part of the world were going through the same battles that people on this side of the world were going through, you know what I mean? And how people had liars and thieves and killers over here and over there, and like I said, without them knowing of each other for influence to be a factor, right, in their overall behavior. um and that's just what it is. And not only that, but comparing these people's backgrounds, and seeing how much stuff overlaps with each other, and the patterns, when it comes to these behaviors, is a trip, right? One of the really really good ones that explains this in a really good way, if you guys want to check it out, I recommend, is comparing the overall childhood of Ted Bundy and Bernard. Both were serial killers, rapists, and if you get their stories, you compare them. The similarities is crazy, right? and they brewed some evil individuals because Ted Bundy and Bernard were pretty twisted individuals. Um, but see, different time periods and different parts of the world, and yeah, the similarities were insane. Um, but just to get an overall feel of individuals, right? Information is everywhere, right? And people don't even really have to talk for you to get an idea of this individual, right? You get information out of their body language, their face expressions, anything that they may be doing, maybe fidgeting, you know moving their leg, tapping the table. Anything will give you an idea, an overall understanding of an individual, right? Because us as humans, right, it's really hard to control our emotions, right? We're emotional creatures. So we tend to do stuff, right, because of the overall situations that we're put in, right? Out of our comfort zone, that people really tend to do things out of the norm, right? Just because they're frustrated or they're happy or they're, you know, they're impatient or they're short tempered. You get what I'm saying? But you get an overall feeling of an individual just going based off of observing them. Now, vocally is even better, right? Because how they talk, what they say, the words that they use will tell you a lot about an individual, right? If they're being truthful, deceitful, if they're narcissists, if they're antisocial, if they're self-centered, or any part that you see out of psychopathy, to give you an overall idea of these individuals. You just have to look for the information. You just really have to pay attention because it's all out there. And that's why I think even though while people trash social media and stuff like that, it gives you a good overall when it comes to learning about individuals behaviors. It gives you a good insight into it, you know what I mean? But just by observing, because the best way to learn about something is to really sit there and observe and actually listen, right? With no interruptions, without you going back and forth, really just listening to an individual and paying attention to what they're saying, and in order to gather and come with your educated guess about the individuals. Because unfortunately in these times, there is a lot of con men out there, a lot of people that choose to take advantage of others. It's a shame. But it's all there if you pay attention to what they say and how they say it. um, you know that's the times that we live in, so just be aware and cautious of who you trust, because you truly don't know. And sometimes how people say that gut feeling. Well, that gut feeling, see, our brain never stops working, right? So that's your brain, because people think that they have everything on the bag. They think that they could keep themselves on check, but in reality, your brain is already thinking way ahead of you, bro. Your brain never stops working, right? So while that gut feeling that you're getting is your brain trying to tell you something, right? It picked up some information that you just weren't aware at the time, and it's reminding you. That's why when people really sit there and you get a therapist or a psychologist, and the right way of how to ask the right questions triggers people's memories, right? Right, it opens that door. uh, um, it's a trip, like I said, getting to understand the overall mind state of individuals. um, so just be aware when you're on the internet on who you trust. I'm just saying, if Shadow, we out.